Alright, so we'll start with 18. So for the 12 paint colors, but only using 4, that means that the order does not matter. So if the order doesn't matter, okay, then you can use 12C4. Do you guys remember how to do that on your calculator? Yeah, you got to do the math button. So you enter the 12 in first. Okay, and then so you can do 12 math, arrow over to probability. And then this is the permutation and the combination. Okay? So the combination is where the order does not matter. Okay, order does not matter here. That's why it's the combination. Okay, that's the quickest way to do it. And in an exam, you do want to be as efficient as possible. Okay, so 19 we already talked about. If they're mutually exclusive, that means they cannot occur at the same time. Okay, so cannot occur at the same time. So you're going to have to be familiar with different rules of numbers. I wrote down 2 examples. So example 1, I said rolling an odd number and a multiple of 2. Do we know what multiples are? Multiples of 2 are 2, 4, 6, 8, right? So they'll all be even, so those cannot happen at the same time. Okay. The other example I did was drawing a card from a deck of cards. So drawing a card that is red and a club. Because if it's a club, clubs and spades are both black cards, right? Diamonds and hearts are both red. So those 2 things could not happen at the same time. Okay, so know about like factors and remember what prime numbers are. Prime numbers are numbers that are only divisible by 1 and themselves and are greater than 1. So the first prime number is
1. 3.
It's greater than 1. 3 is the second one.
You failed to solve that question.
2.
Nobody did that one.
2. Who said you know? There's one about a prime number. Get out your chapter 7 notes. I'll just show you the exact place. Okay, for 20, the password. So if letters and digits cannot be repeated, that's when you're going to go down. So what I did is I had 3 letters. Okay, so it's 26 letters in the alphabet. You have to know that. 25 times 24. If you can be repeated, what would you multiply by? 26 times 26 times 26. And then how many digits are there? 10. So if they cannot be repeated, you just go down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 8. And then if they can, then it would be 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Okay, and that's where you get the 78,644,000. Okay, and then for 21 through 23, in 21 it says to find the complement. Remember, to find the complement, you do 1 minus the probability. So Ava rolls a number less than 4 or an odd number on a number cube. Anytime it is or, you want to follow this pattern. I'm just going to zoom this in. Okay, so the pattern is the probability of event A plus the probability of event B minus the probability of both. Okay, so this means both. Okay, so that's when you have the or. So the probability A is a number that is less than 4. So on a number cube, there are how many sides? 6 sides. So the numbers that are less than 4 are 1, 3, 2. Usually we write 1, 2, 3, but there are 3 possibilities there. Okay, and then it's going to be minus the probability that it's an odd number. What's the probability that it's odd? Yep, 3 over 6, because again, you could have 1, 3, 5. So I put my options below, minus the probability of both. So the probability that they are odd and less than 4 is how many sides out of 6? You have 1 and 3, right? 1 and 3, so that's 2 sides out of 6 that are both less than 4 and odd. So 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 minus 2 is 4, 4 over 6 reduces to 2/3, but it says to find the complement. Okay, so you just do 1 minus 2/3. That's how you get the 1/3. That is 0.33 as a decimal. Yeah.
I think the probability of I got the same answer. It's
When you say you did the favorable over the total, what do you mean?
like I just said, I don't know, I kind of read like the situation and then I put like that number over total, which is like 6.
So for anything that says or, I would follow this rule, that it's always the event of the first plus the event of the second minus the probability that they're both happening. That way you don't avoid like a proof happening. Now, anytime you have 2 number cubes are rolled, that is going to be the favorable over the total. And what's the total when 2 number cubes are rolled? 36. So when 2 number cubes are rolled, okay, 36 is in the denominator, and you have to find the probability that the product is 10. So product means they multiply to 10. So what are our options? 2, 5, and 5, 2. Okay, so 2 out of 36, which reduces to 1 out of 18, which when you divide is 0.06. Okay, so your answer choices are either going to be in fractions or decimals for these. Okay? And then what's the probability that the sum is 10? So the sum means we're doing what? Adding them. So you can have 4 and 6, 6 and 4, and 5 and 5. Okay, so there's only 1, 5, and 5. So 3 out of 36 is 1 out of 12. And that would be the 0.08. Alright, now we're talking about a deck of cards. So you have a standard deck of cards. How many cards are in a standard deck? 52. So 52 cards total. Okay? Other things you have to know about cards. There's 13 of each suit. Okay, the suits are hearts, diamonds, clubs, spades. Okay, there are 4 suits, right? And there are 4 of each kind of card. Okay, so there are 4 kings, 4 queens, 4 fours, 4 fives. Alright, so for this it says, what's the probability that you draw a king of hearts? How many king of hearts are there in the deck? 1. So it's 1 out of 52. It says you do not replace it. If you don't replace it, you're down a card. If you do replace it, it would be 52 again. Okay, so we talked about both of those during this unit. Then it says you don't replace it, and then you draw another heart. Well, if you already took a heart out, and there's 13 of each suit, now how many are there? But for the top. So normally there's 13 hearts, but I already drew a heart, so now there's going to be 12. If this was a king of clubs, and it asked me what the probability was of drawing a heart, then it would be what? Then it would be 13. Okay? So this is 12 out of 2652. Okay? And then you could reduce by dividing both by 12. Okay? So you have 1 out of 221, and then I rounded this to the nearest thousandth because the value was so small.
Wait, so you don't have to do how many 3? It's like the
It is with the probability of the first event and then, but it depends on the second event. If you want, you can just put it on that table and then if they want to grab it.
Okay.
Thanks, Rita. Okay, so 24, what's the approximate probability that a point chosen inside the rectangle is in the shaded region? So you do have to know how to find area of a rectangle, area of a triangle. That's something I'm not worried about with you guys. So it's 1/2 base times height, right? So the base and the height of this triangle, 2 and 2. Okay? And then rectangle, 2 times 1. So this is the area of the shaded region over the total. Okay? And the shaded region is the triangle plus the rectangle. And then you have to do the total area of the entire rectangle. Okay, so 1/2 times 2 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2. So the area of the triangle is 2. The area of the rectangle is 2. And the area of this whole rectangle, right, this would be 4 times 2, so 8. 4 over 8 is going to reduce to 1/2 or 0.5. I think that'll be one of the ones on your exam. So you're just adding those together to get the total one. Now 25 can be kind of tricky. Okay, so let's go over some of the language here. It does say you do have a table asking men and women where they prefer to shop. What's the probability that a person chosen at random is a woman given that they prefer store B? So if it says given that, that is going to be your total, okay? So given that they perform store B, on the bottom, you have to find the total who prefers store B, okay? And then it's saying the probability that a person chosen at random is a woman, given that they prefer store B. So on the top, you find the women that prefer store B. Alright, so all we're going to do is add straight across. So 4 plus 14, this is all the store B's. Okay, so this is the total for store B. So the denominator is 18. And then the women who prefer store B are the female store B's. So 14 over 18. And we just said to write this as a decimal, so you can divide there. That's how you get the 0.7. Okay, so the 14 is the female who prefers store B. How'd that one go? Them all together. Yeah. So if it says given that, the given means that it has to be in that capacity. So the given that is in the denominator. And on the exam, it'll be the same language. It'll be something that says given that. Okay? Alright, now, for 26, did you guys use your graphing calculator for this? Good. Because, again, time is of the essence here. So to find the mean and the standard deviation, we can go to stat, enter, and then enter these into our calculator. So I showed last hour how to do this, which is why I already have mine in there. Okay, if you ever need to clear it out, you can just do clear, enter, alright, and then 0, 3, 5, 6, 12, 100, 3, negative 4. Okay, then you go back to stat, arrow over to calc. I'm just going to put edit, put them in list 1, then you go to stat, go over to calc, and then you're going to select 1 var stats. This stands for 1 variable stats. The 1 variable just means you have 1 data entry, and we do, because we're doing list 1. And then we just calculate. Now we have to know what the symbol is for the mean. So the mean is the x with the line over it. This is exactly 15.625, which is how we wrote it out. Okay, if it's a decimal that goes on forever, then it will be rounded. And then the standard deviation is this sigma symbol, looks like this. Okay, the 32.18. Alright, and then 27 is something that we did in 8.6. So in 8.6, we did probability with success and failure rates. So this says 2 out of 10 people have an allergic reaction to a new medicine. What's the probability that exactly 4 out of 10 given the medicine experience an allergic reaction? So in this case, the probability of success is the allergic reaction. So it's the 2 out of 10, which is 1/5. Okay, so that's what we're going to be plugging into our equation for P. And the probability of failure is going to be what if success is 1/5? 4/5. It's the complement. Okay, and then the equation that we're using from section 8.6 is NCR. Okay, P to the R power times Q to the N minus R power. And again, if you want to write down, it's in 8.6, so you can see some more examples or try some of those. You're welcome to do that. When they're asking you to find the probability of exactly 4 out of 10, that is giving you your R value. The exactly 4 is your R, so R is 4. The 10 is going to be the total number, which is your N. Alright, so when we plug this in, we have 10CR, okay, and then your probability P is 1/5 to the power of 4, and then 10 minus 4 is 6, so this will be 4/5 to the 6th power. Okay, and you can plug that all into your calculator at one time, or you could find this first. Right? I know that 1 to the 4th is 1. 5 to the 4th is 25 times 25. Okay, and then you could do 4 to the 6th on your calculator if you wanted. And then you could do 5 to the 6th, 15, 6, 25. And you could do it that way, where you multiply straight across on the top, divide by the bottom. Either way is fine. Okay, so if you do 210 times 4096, divide that by 625 times 15625. Okay, you get 0.088, which is going to be rounded to 0.09, and that's the same thing as 9%. So if you multiply that by 100, you're 9%. Alright, and then for 28, Aiden keeps track of how many snails he finds at different places in his yard. Make a box and whisker plot of the number of snails found. So I always like to start with my max and min. This one's actually nice because they put it for you in order. So, you know your min, you know your max right away. So I'm at 2, and I'm at 7. Okay, then we're going to find the median. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that means the 2 in the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You have to find the median of those two. They happen to be the same number, so when you find the average of them, you get 4. Okay, then when you find Q1, you have to split these in half. When you split them in half, you find the middle number. So the middle number for Q1 is 3. The middle number for Q3 is 6. Do you just have questions about how to find those values? The 3 and the 6? Yeah, you guys seem to do really well with the box and whiskers.